Story 1. Maybe I choose the wrong people, but I always find myself miserable months into any relationship, so I would rather be single. Story 2. I haven't had a girlfriend in about 4 years. Now I feel more comfortable being alone. Dating or trying to meet someone feels like a lot of effort for something I'm not entirely convinced I want. There are times when I'm out and see couples around, which makes me feel jealous. However, when I get home and the door closes behind me, I'm thankful that nothing else is happening. I'm also not planning to have children, and I'm not particularly focused on marriage. I would consider marriage if my partner really wants it, but that can be a tough sell to most women. I find myself searching for something ideal when I'm not entirely sure I even want it. Story 3. I am twice divorced. It is just not worth it. I have accomplished everything I set out to achieve in relationships except for the till death part, and I can live with that. Story 4. Why not? I am happy. A wonderful woman could make my life happier. Most would make my life rather more miserable. The simple math. Story 5. Simple. Not attractive, not smart, not funny, not charismatic, so any effort in trying to find a significant other will yield more tangible results if invested in my career. Story 6. Imagine all of your money in a pile. Now imagine you are the only one spending it. Imagine it is 6:47 p.m. and you sit down on the couch and kick off your work boots. Now imagine nobody is in your ear about it. Imagine making plans to go fishing with your friends. Now imagine your phone is silent for the whole trip. Imagine deciding what you want for dinner and actually having that. No, pick something else. No, I don't want that. Imagine uninterrupted peace. Story 7. I am an incredibly selfish person, and I dislike compromise. I have several hobbies that take up a lot of time, and I am not interested in spending time away from those hobbies to be with someone else. Anyone who would want to be in a relationship with me would need to be okay with maybe 2 to 3 hours per week of my time, and that is not fair to anyone else. While I acknowledge that this is a toxic personality, I believe that I am not hurting anyone else as long as I remain single. I am not a bad person, but I understand where my priorities lie, and my priorities are with myself. Story 8. I do not understand such questions. Being single is the default condition, so why would I need a reason to be in that state? Perhaps you should ask single men who do not pursue women why they don't pursue women. For me, it is because I have yet to find another woman who has made me feel physically desired. This happened once a long time ago, and I need to feel physically wanted in order to feel attraction in the first place. Story 9. Correct me if I'm wrong, but dating is mostly about talking and getting to know each other. I find it difficult to hold or initiate a conversation. I'm more of a listener than a speaker and sometimes prefer others to talk endlessly. Story 10. How would a partner enhance my life? Every male friend I have who is married looks like they are a prisoner. Story 11. I have been with my wife for 11 years. If something happened between us, I would never get involved in a relationship again. Story 12. I believe most men prefer to stay single for a few months after a serious relationship. The sense of freedom and the time they have is refreshing. Additionally, the privacy of not having someone constantly checking their phone or wanting to know their whereabouts is appealing. Story 13. Saves money, reduces drama, and provides more free time. I have the whole place to myself. What's mine is mine and no one else's. I can eat whenever I want instead of when someone else does, and the same goes for sleep. I can hang out with my friends anytime I want without anyone complaining. There is no nagging, and I can watch whatever I want whenever I want. The list goes on. Story 14. Dating does not seem to be worth the trouble or effort. Besides, I have more than enough issues of my own to keep me occupied. Story 15. Being my own person and not having to constantly justify every single action that I take, such as deciding to simply take a walk alone or wanting to hang out with friends occasionally. And the money I have saved. Story 16. Every girlfriend I have had so far has been a disaster. I suppose my taste in women is the issue, so I remain single. Story 17. After 8 relationships, 6 of which involved infidelity through monkey branching, they always claimed they wanted to live a lavish lifestyle, something simply beyond my means. I'm just a regular guy living a decent, modest life. I don't lack anything, and I could buy pretty much anything I wanted, aside from big-ticket items such as a yacht or an exotic car, which I don't desire anyway. It seems like the influence of social media has intensified among women these days, and if they're not living the life of the top 1% in luxury, they're just not satisfied. I got tired of doing my best, putting my best foot forward, and investing my time and love into women who discarded me as soon as another better guy came along. Story 18. There is a significant difference in the expectations women have for the men they date compared to their own expectations for themselves. Story 19. Why do some people get so angry at random men who want to stay single? These are men online that they will never even meet. It reflects a level of insecurity. Story 20. I spent ages 16 through 35 constantly with women. I am genuinely enjoying my freedom. I moved to a remote location and have never had anyone over. I get to do what I want when I want. There's a woman I've loved for a long time, but I can't be with her, so that's okay for now. I got to buy a motorcycle about it. Story 21. I don't know what romantic love is. I have never felt it or received it, so I don't want to either. Whenever I see couples and imagine myself in a relationship, I cringe for no reason. I guess I'm just not made for it. I enjoy spending time with my friends, whether it's having fun or just being together. I prefer to enjoy music while cooking a meal. Story 22. Financial risk of divorce. Choose the wrong person and everything I have worked for can be lost. In my case, I feel unattractive for my income level and somewhat naive for my age due to starting later in life. Your situation may be different and likely is. Story 23. To keep it short, originally I wasn't ready for a serious relationship and did not want to participate in hookup culture because that is not the man I want to be. But now it is because of no faith in the Swedish legal system. A general distrust of all women I do not already know well. This is a result of the previously mentioned lack of faith, meaning I cannot afford to trust someone who might be a threat to my health, freedom, and resources. I do not think most women are worth the hassle, even if I felt I could be more trusting. The thing with me is that I would like to become a father one day and have a woman by my side, a woman who likes me for who I am and not just for what I have. Family is the most important thing in life, but I do not mind being alone. It is better to be alone, betrayed, and locked up for something you did not do. Story 24. I have never met anyone whose company I prefer to my own. This is not to say I never will or that I lack romantic interest, just that it has not happened yet. I am not interested in being with someone just for the sake of not being single, and I am not actively looking for anyone. I see no reason to. Story 25. I am pretty much average in all regards and don't have anything to offer that anyone else couldn't. I am fine with that because I live my life at my own pace and in peace. I have become accustomed to my own routines and have gotten somewhat stuck in them, but I don't see it as a bad thing because I have finally built my own comfortable world. It gives me freedom and saves me from unnecessary drama that inevitably comes with relationships. Recently, 2 women asked me out on dates, and I rejected them both for this very reason. One was very persistent, offering to be at least a friend with benefits, then even a friend without benefits, and she almost begged me for at least a coffee date. I also rejected a coworker's offer to date her daughter in her 20s. I can't really tell what kind of woman it would take for me to turn my life upside down to make her a part of it. Story 26. I enjoy solitude, and I haven't met a woman who makes that solitude worth giving up, especially when you consider the upfront effort required to start a relationship. I've heard some people say that the secret to finding a relationship is to just enjoy dating until you meet someone who clicks. The problem is that I don't enjoy casual dating. It feels draining. Story 27. I am 62 and have been single for most of my life, never married. Why? I have a condition called coercion hypersensitivity disorder. This means I don't respond well to someone trying to give me orders or dominate me in any way. I see the compromises that my married friends need to make to keep the drama level low at home. Although they are reluctant to admit it, it's obvious that only one person gets to put their foot down and have the final say if there is a conflict. It isn't the man. I understand there are many level-headed and fair women out there, but they are becoming the exception rather than the rule. I ask myself how I would respond if my partner said to me, "I don't care if you want to. You need to do it or you are sleeping on the couch." I would be gone the next day. Single life is the life for me. There is very little drama. All of my money is mine. I never need to ask permission to do anything. I plan my own weekends, and my home looks exactly how I want it to. Additionally, I never need to worry about any false accusations. These things may seem trivial to most married people, I understand. Just for fairness to the women, I can't understand why a woman would want to live with me. I really don't, so I have no expectations of such. Story 28. The women I like don't like me. The women that like me I don't like. At least I've upgraded to feeling girl lonely. Guy lonely is when no one even looks at you. Story 29. I am 46 years old and have experienced 1 failed marriage and 7 failed relationships. Money is not enough. Health declined after suffering from gastroesophageal reflux disease. Love and affection cannot be given without involving intimacy. Story 30. I am selective. I have had several opportunities to settle down, but I only want a woman who is genuinely attractive to me, both physically and mentally. However, I do not often meet women like this. Story 31. The freedom. I played pickleball for 4 hours, enjoyed a hearty meal at a new restaurant I've been wanting to try, tested my drone in the park, and then topped off my day with a massage. Why would I want to trade this life? I mean, if someone good comes along and wants to be a part of my journey, then absolutely, but for now, it's just not worth it. Story 32. Women, regardless of the era, often prioritize material goals and seek marriage, leading to agreements that primarily benefit them while placing men at a disadvantage, especially in the event of divorce, which statistically is likely. Nowadays, the ideal man is perceived as one who submits to women and caters to their needs without question, while women feel free to act without restrictions. Men are criticized for establishing boundaries, which can be labeled as misogynistic, and expressing concerns about women's behavior is often regarded as controlling. It may be more advantageous to engage in casual relationships rather than pursue traditional dating. Story 33. Peace of mind, liberty, and freedom. I never hear any nagging in my life. I have friends to keep me company. I don't need anything more. Story 34. Get into a relationship with someone who appreciates you. You'll find that being single is better than ending up in that situation again. Felt like being on a swing. Story 35. I tried marriage, but it didn't work. I tried a relationship, but it didn't work. The scientific evidence I have collected shows that it doesn't work. It seems like a plot by the diamond industry to sell more diamonds. I will look into that. Story 36. Me in a relationship. Whatever you want, babe. Every woman I've ever dated. No. And I'm done with it. Story 37. I have considered staying single because dating drains my energy. Imagine constantly thinking about another person's preferences and trying to align with them. They want things one way and you want them another. Dating can be expensive, from planning outings to celebrating birthdays and everything in between. Story 38. Unfortunately, many women can be a liability rather than an asset. You have to budget for them in terms of time, energy, and emotional investment. It is much easier when you have all other aspects of life under control and want someone to invest in. However, the return on investment often isn't there. Until you find a person who is truly an asset to your life, it seems that many women do not fit that role. Women who are mothers or over the age of 35 often present a different dynamic, but until then, it's advisable to consider short-term arrangements. However, even short-term connections can be exhausting unless there is a clear end date, such as a vacation. Story 39. A few reasons. 1. I can be petty. Women with high body counts gross me out. 1 to 3 is acceptable for me, but that number seems to have drastically increased in my generation. Every time she says, "I love you," I think about how many men she has said it to before me, and many of my first experiences will be part of her past relationships. I may not live to see 60. Many women I encounter nowadays, especially online, possess the mindset that dating them is a privilege and expect to be treated like a princess. I am not where I want to be physically, mentally, and financially to be in a relationship. I believe I am a very boring person these days. I have become quite antisocial in the last 2 to 3 years. Story 40. I am older and wiser. After 2 marriages, I realized that I do not choose well. Many women seem to want someone from whom they can live off and purchase unnecessary items they cannot afford because they did not have to earn the money. I would like to have a partner, but she must be an equal. Finding that woman will be challenging. Story 41. Have you seen women from America lately? I only date non-Americans and women from other countries who haven't been influenced by American culture yet. Story 42. Feminism has negatively affected women. Today's dating resembles adopting a child. Individuals expect everything but offer little in return. What do modern Western women contribute? Many men are coming to the conclusion that it is not worth the effort, so they choose to pursue their own paths. Story 43. I was married, and I miss my ex-wife. Neither of us has anyone, but she would rather be alone at the moment, and I'm happy we still parent our 2 children really well. Being single does have advantages, but there's much I miss about the family unit. I wouldn't ever get married again. It's too much risk, and I was fortunate that my ex and I don't go to court. If you're happy being single, stay that way. There's nothing wrong with it. I have lots of hobbies, family, and friends, and my main focus is on being a good dad to my 2 boys. Story 44. It's not necessarily about preferring to stay single. It's just that I'm not pursuing a relationship. It all feels so fake somehow. Story 45. I make good money and have many friends from my hobbies and interests. I have my kids and family. I travel often and see new places. I enjoy my peace and seldom feel lonely. Perhaps an amazing woman will come along and make life even more worthwhile, but my life is pretty awesome as it is, and they would need to contribute positively. No freeloaders. Story 46. I live in one of the largest cities in the world, and dating here has unfortunately made me very jaded. I hope to eventually find a partner, but it is not currently my top priority. Story 47. I enjoy being by myself. I like and love other people, but at some point, I just want to be alone. I haven't met anyone with whom I want to spend most of my time. I also like that most days I can do whatever I feel like. I don't have many responsibilities or ties holding me back. Story 48. I don't like headaches over drama and fluctuating emotions over petty stuff. Being single gives me so much peace of mind. Story 49. The last thing I want to hear after getting home from a long day at work is the voice of the teacher from Charlie Brown saying I never pay attention to her. Story 50. I refuse to uphold traditional gender expectations while my partner embraces modern values. I consider myself a non-traditional man, yet I have repeatedly observed in both my partners and female friends a lingering traditionalism. I have noticed that a woman can advocate for gender equality, be progressive, and reject traditionalism, yet still feel uneasy about a man working at a fast food restaurant. If I am expected to fulfill traditional male responsibilities, then I expect traditional male benefits from my partner. In my community, these dynamics are predominantly found among very religious individuals, which does not reflect my beliefs. Story 51. Peace and quiet. After my ex-wife, I'm actually done with the opposite sex for a while. Nothing good happens when you attach yourself to the emotional roller coaster that is a woman's feelings at any given moment. It's astonishing how women go through life this way, experiencing mood swings without any sense of stability or focus. How do you navigate life like that? There seems to be no logic or reason, only emotions. Story 52. I prefer remaining single because that's when I am at my best. Having a woman by your side can be more of a headache than a benefit. She may ask for more time, as many women often seek to fill their lives with more stimulation, which can demand your time and attention. Additionally, she might try to influence your thoughts and upbringing, imposing unnecessary expectations to constrain you or make you feel inadequate about your own views. There are many other reasons why I prefer to stay single. Please reach out if you would like to know more. Story 53. How are relationships worth it for men? You have to do a lot to ensure that the woman doesn't choose someone else, and if you succeed, your reward is that you can't sleep with anyone else. How is this in any way worth it? I understand if you're already in love, but the only people who fall in love within a few days are often love bombers. This whole dating system is not worth it for any man who has multiple options. Do you really think I'm going to give up the opportunity to be with other women just to treat one girl like a princess? You must be joking. Story 54. I feel that if I enter a relationship right now, the chances of it working out are slim because I know I have work to do on myself. If I felt better about myself, that would be one thing. However, until I feel like I am the right person for someone, it is better to remain single and improve myself. Story 55. No drama. More time. More money. More freedom. More solitude. Currently, I value all of this over seeking companionship. Story 56. Because a relationship is exhausting, and it's actually easier to balance a few situations where I'm not invested. You can't break my heart if I don't hand it to you. You can't manipulate me if I was good before you, and I know I will be good after you. Being single allows me to do whatever I want without someone giving terrible advice on things they know nothing about and then getting upset when it leads to worse situations. They blame you, or they get mad when you don't listen to their advice because it's poor advice. I have a series of casual relationships where I frankly don't have to care if they are upset or not. It is much easier to maintain my own personal happiness when I am not basing it on someone else's happiness levels. How many here have tried being the perfect person pleaser who gave up their own happiness trying to keep someone else happy? That will never take me down again. Singlehood is much easier. I can invite whoever I want over. I speak or text at my convenience. I don't have to worry about unnecessary criticisms. My house is clean. My bills are paid. I have all the hobbies I want. I am happy, and I can relax. Story 57. It's peaceful. I don't have to show consideration to others, but I can buy, eat, and sleep whenever I want. There's no drama, no mind games, and no worries about whether she is cheating or if our relationship is falling apart. Story 58. I am in the United States. Divorce laws here assume that the man is guilty until proven innocent. Women in marriage are incentivized by the state to break the contract, while men risk being financially ruined. Story 59. Honestly, I've been married, but it didn't work out. Now I am happier being alone. I wish I had stayed that way. There is less responsibility, and I get to do what I want now without constant criticism. That being said, I was in an abusive relationship, so that's probably why I feel the way I do. Story 60. Pain, heartbreak, disappointment, feeling played or ghosted, wasting time seeking attention from someone else, following another set of rules instead of living my life freely, spending money on dates or compromising and considering someone else's opinion. All of these reasons weigh heavily on my mind. I could elaborate further, but it's early, and I'm exhausted. My ex recently passed away, which adds to the emotional burden I'm feeling right now. Story 61. I have been single all my life. Similar to my attention deficit hyperactivity disorder tendencies to get through the weeks, I always feel like I am a step or two away from being comfortable putting myself out there. Story 62. If I lose, only I suffer for it. I have the freedom to do what I want when I want. I do not lock myself into anything. Story 63. Peace and quiet. My money in an increasingly expensive life is my own, and my time is my own. I am finally achieving career and personal goals now that I do not have to spend so much emotional energy on someone else's shifting expectations of happiness. I have 3 kids and will not subject them to someone who may be even worse than their own mother. The dating pool in my area consists mostly of Christians who are at least twice divorced without doing the necessary work to understand why. If I want intimacy, I can use an app or go to a bar, and if that fails, I can manage on my own, which is satisfactory. Story 64. Because the quality of women has declined. The legal system is biased against men regarding custody and divorce. Story 65. I am not interested. It is as simple as that. Relationships take a lot of work, and I do not have the motivation to put in the effort. I do not like to compromise either, which puts me off. Marriage is completely out of the question for me. It is merely a document that offers nothing other than the potential to financially ruin me. I am also not interested in having children. So yes, the phrase, "the juice is not worth the squeeze," sums it up nicely. I have been single for 11 years now, and I have no intention of changing that. Story 66. Emotionally, financially, and legally safer. I am 46 years old and have tried all of that already. Speaking from experience. Story 67. I'm good on my own, and dating isn't for me. I need to make many sacrifices in terms of freedom and self-sustainability, and I'm not really into that idea. Additionally, it feels uncomfortable to have someone that close to me. I don't know why exactly. Story 68. It is kind of the default. I would rather be single and okay than with someone and miserable. I am very open to a relationship, but I will not settle for just anyone if it will make my life worse. Story 69. Let go of stress and drama. I often turn into an activity coordinator and a walking ATM. The women I have dated do not make any effort, unless you consider just showing up as effort. Story 70. I enjoy not having to compromise with someone else on how I spend my free time. If I want to sleep in on the weekend, I can. If I want to go to the gym or play golf, I can. This also means I don't have to spend my free time doing things I find boring, like shopping. I believe a relationship will work for me only if I find a partner who shares my interests. Story 71. I can't tell if I am single because I am focused on my career or if I am single because I am very shy and don't ask women out. Both are true. If I could meet a woman who accepts me for who I am, including my shyness, and is patient with me regarding how I budget my time and money, then I would date her. But such a woman seems to not exist. Story 72. It's not so much a preference for me to be single just because, but if I have to choose between being single and content versus being with someone who makes my life miserable, guess which one most guys would prefer? I would rather be single and content for the most part than be with someone who makes life worse. That said, I would like to be with someone, but I don't have many opportunities to meet someone who interests me enough to ask them out. I have very few hobbies or interests that get me around other people. I'm usually too tired after work, either physically or mentally, to want to go anywhere other than home. I don't drink or go clubbing, as it's never really been my thing and likely never will be. I'm not much of a gym goer. Mostly, my work serves as my exercise, or I do workouts at home with my weights. However, to do something different occasionally, I might go to the gym after work. The one cafe I regularly visit is in the morning, and I don't stay very long, as either nobody interests me to talk to or they aren't interested in talking to me. I tried dating apps, but I don't think I could recommend any of them. They don't really work, or rather, I could never get a date from any of them. The groups I joined in real life were around briefly, and I often didn't enjoy my time with the activities or the people, or they attracted a different age group than intended. At this point, I've kind of gotten used to being alone in real life and don't really mind it. I'd like to get along with others, but I rarely seem to be around people where I live. My hobbies are fairly solitary. I often functionally live under a rock regarding popular things, or I have some level of disinterest. The less popular things I enjoy discussing are harder to bring up in conversation, even if I suspect the person I'm with might like talking about them. Long story short, I cannot find groups of people to make good connections, whether for dating or even just acquaintances my age, where I live. Any common or mutual interests that go beyond popular topics don't really help me form bonds, mostly due to my lack of those interests. The activities I try that are popular often don't engage me, which can leave me in a worse mood and make me less eager to stick around at events and mingle. Maybe I just haven't found that group or activity yet. Perhaps I need to move elsewhere, or maybe I'm in the right place and just experiencing a misconnection. It's hard to tell. I'm not about to change who I am just to be more likable and social, because that's just not me. However, this makes it hard to meet people I'd want to hang out with or be around. The upside, though, is that I miss out on any drama or problems that come with having friends or a dating partner. Story 73. Dating is a lot of work, and I am tired and don't enjoy it. I do feel lonely, but I'm struggling with the people. Every long-term relationship I have been in has made me miserable. It's been a consistent pattern, so I am forced to consider that the problem might be me. For the past 3 years, I have decided to not put much effort into relationships and focus on myself and my own happiness. It is lonely, and I wish I had someone to do couple activities with. However, I do not sit in my car outside my home dreading going inside, so there is that. Story 74. Familiarity, I suppose. I have never had a relationship outside of a short fling and an elementary school relationship that lasted a whole day. I have suffered from social anxiety and depression for most of my life, so I didn't socialize much in my 20s. My social anxiety made me terrified of both physical and emotional intimacy. Consequently, I succumbed to fear and did not try. I am doing much better now, but I still have a long way to go. I have dated a couple of women over the past few years, but it never progressed beyond a casual relationship. Part of me would still like to have a relationship one day. However, I am getting older and set in my ways. I also enjoy my solitude. I guess I simply do not want a relationship enough to put in the effort. The good news is that I am finally learning how to feel okay about myself. I have many attachment issues to sort out, and while I possess several wonderful character traits, I also have some less desirable ones. For the right woman, I am sure I would take risks, but I am beginning to feel okay about never meeting her. I am 32, and it is hard for me to imagine being in a relationship. Yet, for years ago, I could not have imagined learning how to manage my depression or having a full-time job, so one never knows, right? Story 75. The unique aspects of a relationship do not hold value for me. I dislike compromising more than I appreciate those benefits. Additionally, I seek an intellectual equal. I have encountered women who meet this criterion, but they are as rare as men who also meet that standard, comparable in rarity to seeking a partner with a high level of attractiveness. Limiting your dating pool so strictly results in a very small number of compatible partners. I understand that this significantly lowers my chances of finding a relationship to near zero, but it is essential to recognize that this outcome stems from my own choices and is not anyone else's fault. However, I am unwilling to compromise on this because it is important to me in pursuing a long-term partnership. Story 76. I wasted my youth asking girls out on dates without any success. I'm not wasting my old age doing the same thing. Besides, at my age, there's no fun to be had in relationships, only financial responsibilities. Story 77. After getting out of a long-term relationship, I wanted to stay single. I enjoyed it very much and forgot about the freedom that comes with being single. Story 78. Freedom. I earn enough to be self-sufficient. I have observed many relationships that are codependent, and that is not how I want to live. It is easier to make decisions and engage in activities each day. Story 79. I've had many bad experiences in relationships, so I prefer not to put myself through that again. I stay by myself and stick to friends, just friends. Anything more than that tends to end badly. Story 80. I am getting old. I have never been in a relationship, and I am used to being alone. At this point, I do not see a reason to start a new relationship. Story 81. Because the people who want me are not those I am interested in, and vice versa. Ultimately, I have no interest in settling just for the sake of being in a relationship. Believe me, I have tried dating individuals who were either toxic or whom I was not physically attracted to, and it did not make me happier. Instead, it gave me feelings of anxiety and guilt, especially when the other person was very into me and I was only lukewarm at best. I gave them a chance to see if my feelings would grow, and because they were nice, I thought I should give it a shot. It felt like a chore, and ultimately, it is not fair to either of us. Let them find someone who truly appreciates them and is genuinely interested. Story 82. I often find myself being used or taken for granted, often with a bit of manipulation involved. Now, I focus on learning to love myself and being the best version of myself that I can be. Story 83. I'm 21 and work excessively. I'm on the verge of achieving significant wealth, but right now I'm still somewhat broke due to my startup. I'm in a location where the only women my age attend college an hour away, which requires significant reprogramming of their perspectives. My last 2 relationships ended poorly, and the aftermath was the most challenging period of my life. I have co-founders, employees, and customers who depend on me to show up every day with a positive and productive attitude. If I experience another emotional breakdown like I did in my last relationship, I'm unsure I will be able to maintain my daily commitments during that time. In summary, I'm in a season of growth. Financially, physically, mentally, educationally, and spiritually. So why would I enter a relationship now when I could wait 2 years and find a partner who meets my ideal criteria? Story 84. Life is too challenging to bother right now, although I must admit I don't know how many more situations like this I can handle. Story 85. I have been happily single for the last 5 years. This may be because my ex-wife cheated on me, but I appreciate my freedom. Story 86. I am working hard to reach my prime, focusing on improving my finances, resources, and status. This situation is making it difficult for me to have a girlfriend. Story 87. I want to stay single, but who knows what will happen the next day? Nobody knows. I just try to be honest. I'm afraid that in my family, there will be no heir to carry on the family name. My older brother has passed away, the other brother is already married but has decided to remain child-free, and my younger brother is in a relationship, but he and his girlfriend are kind of uncertain. Meanwhile, I just hang out with my imaginary friends. Story 88. Currently, I prefer to stay single since I have very little time to spend with a partner, and I probably won't find one soon. I am in between accepting that I have no time for a relationship and considering that I might not find one for various reasons. Story 89. For me, it's my appearance. I know that I'm not attractive to many women, and I have a dull personality. It's fulfilling for me, but I don't think a lot of women would agree, and that's okay. Story 90. I often find myself taking care of others, and I feel burnt out trying to look after both myself and them. Story 91. I can do whatever I choose, whenever I want. I can only focus on my own survival and cannot be hindered or made less efficient by dependence. I can put myself through challenges to achieve my goals, but I cannot hold anyone else to the same standards. Story 92. Several reasons contribute to my perspective, and I want to provide a content warning for those who need it. In my last 3 relationships, the women were unfaithful to me, and in one case, I was drugged and assaulted. My previous long-term girlfriend moved across the country for work, which led to our separation. She was an incredible person. Staying single is more economical for me. I can do what I want when I want and have fewer responsibilities to remember and manage. Story 93. I just can't stand the idea of committing to a new relationship, whether it's romantic or just a friendship. It's been like this for the past 2 years, and I'm not sure why. It's as if there is no more space in my social circle. Even when I meet someone I genuinely like, I can't bring myself to go on dates and get to know that person. I don't like being in this situation, but at the same time, I don't feel affected by it. Actually, most of the time, I am in a good mood and stress-free. Story 94. It's not that I prefer to be single. There is a big difference between feeling lonely and being alone, but they are also remarkably similar. It's that I feel emotionally constrained when I don't have control over my time, if that makes sense. Story 95. I just don't feel like it. It was something I wanted and worked on for a very long time, but it was not as fulfilling as I thought it would be. I feel more fulfillment and love for my dog, whom I have raised, trained, and cared for over the past 12 years than from all my years of dating. Story 96. I don't feel worthy. If I don't like myself very much, it's clear no one else will either. I am not able to be helped, so it is what it is. Story 97. Originally, the problem is that nobody seems to queue up for a chance with me. Over time, I have observed the relationships of others, but I don't see anything I desire in them. Whenever I'm out with other people, I often feel bored, or others perceive me as boring, leading to endless phone calls that only make it more monotonous. I'm mostly indifferent these days. Story 98. It's addictive once you get it. I can do what I want and have fun with whoever I choose, but you have to appreciate your solitude. If you get lonely, you will not thrive. Even solo travel is enjoyable. Story 99. I married my college sweetheart. We made it last for 28 years and raised two beautiful children. However, I never had the freedom that most men experience in their 20s. I am enjoying exploring and discovering new things about myself in my 50s. I am sure I will get married again, but not for at least a few more years. Story 100. My previous partners, except one, were all pretty good people and I care about them a lot. After my most recent breakup, I have been enjoying my single life and keeping my own company. I'm in no rush to pursue anything. If something happens, that's fine, but I'm happy as I am. Story 101. I do what I want to do when I want to do it, and I don't have to answer to anyone about why I'm doing it or what time I will be back. To me, it is a level of freedom that a relationship cannot provide. Story 102. You get used to being alone. I feel unworthy of dating because I earn about $50,000, which is considered low income. This makes me appear unambitious and unable to support a partner. By the time I receive a reasonable paycheck, inflation will have increased further, diminishing my efforts. I need to live more simply. Women do not want to live in poverty, and I understand that, so it is better to stay away. Story 103. Peace. The thrill of a new woman is unique. I am rather selfish, and my job requires a lot of traveling. Long-distance relationships do not work. Story 104. It's simple to me. I think it makes perfect sense that a woman wants a wealthy, healthy man who can give her most of his attention and have plenty of time to spend with their children. It's not just sensible. It's deserved, frankly. At least good women deserve that much, and I am inclined to believe most women are good and deserving. For that reason, if I cannot provide those things, then I am wasting a good woman's time, and time is precious. There is no benefit to me beyond temporary entertainment to keep a bad woman around. It makes much more sense to stay single, have some occasional fun, and keep my distance from good women until I feel I can offer at least those most important things. So unless I achieve those things, my time might as well be dedicated to reaching them rather than frolicking with women I don't intend to keep. Spending money on a woman I don't intend to keep seems unwise for my goals and counterproductive for that woman in the long run. So it's basically as simple as it gets. Story 105. After many failed long-term relationships, I realized I needed to change my approach. I have been single for 16 months, during which I have been investing in myself. No more dating apps. I hope to meet my next partner in person and find someone who complements my life in a way my previous partners did not. I felt particularly disposable to my last partner. Whoever I date next will have to be a special person. In the meantime, I have my dream job, I am getting a nice place, and I am working toward a house in a remote location. Story 106. Lack of good connection and constantly choosing women who are unhappy and believe a man should create their happiness can complicate dating and relationships. It's challenging when you cannot show emotion or have fears and feel the need to be emotionally detached while supporting her through everything she is experiencing. Being single is much healthier for me. I focus on the gym, therapy, and hobbies. The only annoyance is my mother asking about grandchildren. Story 107. I often feel unhappy with the women I choose. Maybe I am not good at selecting partners, and I am currently struggling financially. Additionally, relationships can be challenging. Story 108. I am sitting in a court services building with my 76-year-old father, who is filing a protective order against his wife. She stole cash, struck him with a stick, and had him removed from the house based on false statements. Story 109. I don't want to be an extra responsibility for another person when I have my own problems and addictions that I am trying to overcome. Addictions include daydreaming, pornography, processed food, entertainment, video games, anime, trust issues. Additionally, I am concerned about my appearance. Story 110. I am enjoying getting to know myself better. At some point, I will likely want to be in a relationship, but not anytime soon. Story 111. I lack time, money, and space, and because of that, I can't improve myself. For the meantime, I see no reason to seek anything else when there are more important matters. I don't want children because I don't want them to suffer worse than I have. I don't want marriage because it feels insincere at this point. I have worked as a photographer's assistant and have seen enough marriages to know that many are not genuine. The paperwork for marriage and the stress others bring is not worth it. Marriage does not guarantee loyalty, and we have unfortunately seen that a lot. I don't see a reason to go through all that if, in the end, the other person leaves without a good explanation. I don't seek sex. If it happens naturally, that would be a bonus, but I have never regarded it as essential for a fulfilling relationship. I also consider myself to be quite conventional in that regard. While it doesn't bother me, those who are more affected by such matters might find it dull. This naturally limits my options. If I could find someone to enjoy the simple romantic gestures, hugs, cuddles, kisses, and just being there for each other, that would be nice. I value hugs far more than sex. However, I can't seem to find anyone. In my area, most people are either too old or too young. Surprisingly, I can't find people my age because they are often busy working all day. I feel unlucky. Otherwise, I would have a job too. I'm just waiting to see if anyone will accept my resume. The few people near my age make me cringe because they care about things I have never been interested in, like movies and silly shows on local television or gossip. I struggle to connect with local people. I have spoken with individuals from the United States and had better conversations, despite my limited English skills. I feel like I was born in the wrong era. Story 112. I feel that when I am in a relationship, I do many things to maintain harmony. I don't know why I feel the need to work so hard. Being single is easier and less stressful. Story 113. Honestly, I'm living my best life as a single person. Most people tend to take without giving back or appreciating the peace of mind I bring. That said, I'm not exactly sure where I stand in terms of pursuing a serious relationship or having fun, but I would say I'm considerate in that regard. Story 114. I wouldn't say I prefer it, but I have never been in a relationship. For now, I want to focus on improving myself. I am 22, but I would like to start a relationship soon, as I do want to be a husband and father in the future. Story 115. In my relationships, I have not found any woman who offers me something of value that I cannot provide for myself. Story 116. Right now, I just don't feel any special way about the women I am dating. I will go on a few dates and it will be nice. The women are sweet and lovely. If I am not eager to see a woman again after a couple of dates, then I don't feel that pull to be in a relationship with her. I have had a couple of dates with some girls that I genuinely felt a certain way about afterward, but it didn't pan out or I lost my cool and ruined it. So, for me personally, I am taking a more passive approach to dating so I can focus on my career and enjoy training. However, if the right thing comes along, I would not want to miss it. That being said, I still have a hard time fully opening up and being vulnerable since my ex. When you say certain things to someone, that you will love them forever and all those poetic and heartfelt expressions, it feels very difficult to say them to anyone else. I will probably be okay with it eventually, and I am very happy for my ex for moving on and for us being able to stay amicable and friendly. But I cannot force myself to love someone again. I will be able to when it is the right thing, but I won't be in a relationship just for the sake of having one. Story 117. A relationship is built on trust and vulnerability, concepts I am hesitant to embrace since my past experiences have led to them being used against me. Story 118. I am not going to force a relationship. If it happens, it happens, but for me, it is definitely going to be a slower build-up. Story 119. Because every girl I have dated has either cheated on me or become verbally abusive, it is better to be alone than to be heartbroken. Story 120. Back when I was single, I wanted to be single. I loved the freedom of being able to do whatever I wanted. From age 16 to 21, I was in a relationship while everyone else was not. By the time we graduated college and mutually broke up, I was single for the first time in a long time. Many of my friends had new relationships, and I was focused on my own life. I had no one to report to, no one to devote myself to, just me living my life as I wished. On a deeper level, my college breakup affected me significantly. Although it was a mutual and amicable decision, we were both extremely upset about it. I realized I needed to be single because no one else could love me enough if I didn't love myself first. I spent my time being single, having fun, and enjoying what I like to do. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.